everybody. It's almost time. Happy New Year. It's getting close. These are Nengajo, and I'm actually going to make a video and talk about these and have a little contest for these. And I'm going to put that video up tomorrow, so come back for that. I've been working on my Nengajo today. I made cards with my kids using their thumbprint, making reindeer, and you can put a stamp on it and mail it. But this video is about something I saw in the paper yesterday. So this video is going to go up today, which is Sunday, and then tomorrow, which is Monday the 31st, the day before New Year's, of course. I'll put up kind of a year-end wrap-up video. So I get the English language newspaper, I think you guys all know, and it's good this time of year. They do some kind of wrap-up the year issue stuff, and in this one was the top sports stories of the year. Now, before I go down the list, I should mention that these are voted on by readers, so mostly Japanese people, but a lot of foreigners because the language, of the newspaper is English. And I don't think they get a tremendous amount of votes. I voted last year and actually got quoted in the paper when I talked about sumo. I forgot to vote this year. There's a deadline and stuff. This is not necessarily a good example of all of Japan's feelings, but it's probably fairly close. And just so you can kind of see regionally here in Japan, what were some of the big sports stories. If you're not really that into sports, I will make another one of these. In a few days, they'll have the similar thing, but they'll talk about the top news stories of the year. And that's a little bit more universally people can understand and relate to that. They do domestic and they do world. So I'll do a video for that too. Okay, so here are readers' choices for the top Japan sports stories. And you can see right here at the beginning, I'm going to try to do this. Can you see her? So do you recognize her without even seeing or me telling you who she is? Here, I'll just show you some of the other pictures real quick here. Me peeking around the corner here so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, and then we'll go over this way and come back down, move my hand. All right, so let me tell you. So the female soccer player there that I just showed you is Homare Sawa-san, and she is the leader of the Nadeshiko Japan soccer team. And of course, last year, they won the Women's World Cup, and then this year they went to the Olympics and lost to America in the final and got the silver medal. But she is an amazing lady, and she's been in like 4 Olympics because she went to her first one she was like 16, and now she's in her 30s, and or 5, maybe she's been to 5 Olympics. Yeah, because she's like 35 or so. Anyway. Amazing. So, Player of the Year. She was named FIFA Player of the Year for women. And the first time, obviously, a Japanese woman has ever been named Player of the Year. And that was the top story as voted on by Japanese readers or readers of the Daily Yomiuri. The next one was the record medal haul for Japan. So, being an Olympic year, we had a lot of Olympic stories in this one. They had 38 gold medals at the, 38 medals at the Olympics in London, at the Summer Olympics. Not 38 gold medals, sorry. That is the most they've ever had. And they obviously had a fair amount of gold in there, but I don't know how many were gold. We had some problems with the Olympics. We like judo, we didn't do so well, especially in men's judo, which was a big story here. But this is focusing on the positive. Number 3, Suzuki Ichiro traded to the Yankees. Big story here, of course. He's now just signed a 2-year extension. He wants to keep playing and hopefully win a World Series, and I hope he does. Of course, this paper came out, I think, literally the next... Oh, no, here it is on the front page. Hideki Matsui retires from professional baseball. So that probably would have been one of the top 10 stories of the year if it had happened like a week earlier. that was a big story here. Made the front page, as you can see. So, the guys that go over to the major leagues and do well, big news here. I should note, now that the thing that I'm disappointed about is there's no sumo story. Hanamafuji becoming Yokozuna is as great an accomplishment, in my opinion, as winning a gold medal. You've put in years of effort, you've worked hard, you've gone up through the ranks, you fought and you fought and you fought, and you obtain this highest plateau you can obtain in your sport of choice. It's winning the Super Bowl, it's winning the World Series, it's the best you can do when you're a sumo wrestler. And we haven't had a new Yokozuna in many, many years. So for it not to make the top 10, for me, is very disappointing. But that just shows you kind of the limited appeal that sumo has amongst a lot of Japanese people, unfortunately. If he were Japanese, 100%, it would be one of the top stories of the year. But I mean, again, I think in a non-Olympic year, he would have at least made the top 10. But this year, he didn't make the top 10. And then that's disappointing for me as a sumo fan. Definitely my top story of the year. I was very, very happy. Okay, number 4, Kagawa moves to Manchester United. Shinji Kagawa is a soccer player, or a football player, and he now plays in the English Premier League. Let's see. It's one of the most, biggest sports franchises in the world, Manchester United, and the amount of paraphernalia they will now sell, shirts and stuff like that, because he plays for them, to Japanese people is just extraordinary. So it means a lot to that team beyond just his ability on the pitch to score goals. Number 5, Uchimura adds Olympic gold to his world titles. So this is an Olympic story. Kohei Uchimura is a gymnast, a male gymnast for Japan, and he won the all-around gold medal. And so, that was a big story here. Number 6 is a figure skating story. Mao Asada, and Daisuke Takahashi take Grand Prix final gold. It had been a while since Mao had won, 2008. No Japanese man had ever won the men's event in this, the ISU Grand Prix final. And, leading up to Russia in 2014, they are the 2 top Japanese figure skaters. Of course, Yu Na, I think, of Korea, is now back in competition. So we'll see next year. That'll be a really competitive thing. In addition to Sawa being named, the individual FIFA Player of the Year and that scoring big, they also have just the, right here, the Nadeshiko team winning Olympic silver, and I was caught up in that too. I watched every game. I was cheering for them. Of course, I wanted them to beat the United States, and they just couldn't pull it off in that last match. Number 8, Darvish makes the jumps to the majors. So Yu Darvish, the pitcher, who's half Japanese, was playing for a team in Hokkaido, the Nippon Ham Fighters, is now a pitcher for the Texas Rangers for an incredible amount, something like $60 million contract. And then what they had to pay to get him from Japan, it's like $100 million Texas had to pay. But he did very well in his rookie season for them, and it's huge news whatever he does over there. Number 9 is Nishikori captures the Japan Open. And it's odd, we have this tournament, a tennis tournament in Japan called the Japan Open, but a Japanese male player has only won that tournament one time, and that was its very first year in 1972. So for this young boy, Kei Nishikori, to win, he's only 22, and he's won some other big matches, and he's in the top 10, I think, now in the ATP rankings in tennis, doing very well, and just huge news for Japanese fans. And Yoshida grapples 13th global gold is another Olympic story about Saori Yoshida. She's a Japanese women's wrestler, and that was the number 10. All right, and the last thing was, if I can get in here, classmates go to bat for their team, and there's a huge baseball tournament in Japan called Koshien, I don't know what the tournament's called. I think it's just there's a spring tournament and the summer national baseball championship, and basically one high school from every prefecture can send a team like to compete. And they're all kind of, there's 47 prefectures or so in Japan. I don't know if they take multiple from Tokyo and Osaka considering their populations, but anyway, um, they all compete, and it's a grid tournament, and it goes down and whittles down and down and down. And this team from Osaka, Toyen uh, High School, they did a historic double. They won both the spring tournament and the summer tournament. It's fairly rare, and they did it against the same team, which is even more rare. A team from Aomori Prefecture played them in the final game in both years, and both tournaments, spring and summer, and they lost both times. And for instance, this gets so much attention and is so watched by the whole nation, that like the pitcher, who's only in high school, has already been scouted and is skipping college, and going straight to the Japanese professional leagues. So Shintaro Fujinami, whose fastball has been clocked at over 150 kph, threw a 2-hit shutout and struck out 14 in a 3-0 victory in the summer final. So he was very impressive. So I guess a teacher who uses this paper in their classroom, in his classes, saw this thing and said, hey, why don't you guys write in and list. So 77 students wrote in. So they kind of had to have their own list because they would have, obviously thrown off the curve. If they had included, their votes, that story about them winning the double would have been the top story of the year. So that shows you how few votes this whole thing gets. But it's interesting to look back and just see what were the top stories. So there it is from Japan. Leave a comment. What's a big sports story in your part of the world? I have a lot of viewers now from Germany, Australia, America, of course, Canada. What's a local story? What's a high school story? What's a cricket or rugby or something, or some sport that obviously I know about American sports like baseball and football and basketball a little. I don't know a lot about basketball, to be honest. But yeah, leave a comment. What was a big sports story for you if you're a sports fan? What meant a lot to you this past year in sports? Obviously with the Olympics, that was great. I thought the London Olympics were fantastic, and I really did enjoy watching them. And I look forward to another full year of sumo coming up. So if you're a sumo fan, of course, I have my all sumo channel. You can go over and check that out. Jason's in Japan here on YouTube. All right, thanks for watching, and leave a comment, and I'll have another New Year's video up in a day, and then probably sometime early in January, I'll get the double page spread with all the news stories for the year. The previous year, the one we're still in, but it's just about to finish. You know what I mean. Okay, talk to you later. See you. Thanks.